The Argonautica, the most expensive, luxurious, lavish cruise liner ever created, is on its maiden voyage in the South China Sea when it suddenly experiences tentacle difficulties in this high seas adventure, and only Treat Williams as a boat captain and Famke Janssen in a red dress can figure out what the hell is going on, and my god, is it such a raucous, silly adventure. I'm John Renton with the retro review of Deep Rising, written and directed by Stephen Sommers. If that name rings a bell but you can't quite place it, he directed this. He directed The Mummy, one of my favorite action-adventure movies of all time. So Deep Rising, amused me when I was 17 years old because that's how long ago that movie came out. It was in 1998. It actually came out just a couple weeks after my birthday, so I'm like, why not? I'll give that a shot. And I haven't seen it in a number of years, and I thought I'd give it a shot. I just recently retro-reviewed a Famke Janssen starring movie, House on Haunted Hill, the 1999 remake, and I thought, let me see how this movie was. And I forgot just how much fun this movie actually is. Let me know your thoughts on this movie in the comments, please. But yeah, Stephen Sommers. He also directed The Mummy Returns, G.I. Joe, and Van Helsing. Van Helsing's claim to fame, or its main selling point, was the fact that Kate Beckinsale looked really fucking hot, as she pretty much does in every movie. Also, Famke Janssen apparently is an immortal. She looks exactly the same here as she does now. Treat Williams, this is when Treat Williams was getting a lot of attention, and he was just kind of this wisecracking boat captain, and, named Finnegan. Also, you had the guy named Benny that was, in The Mummy. He was in this as the comic relief. And also you had Jaimin Hansu, I hope I pronounced that right. Coming off of Amistad, he was in this. And then also you had Anthony Harold as, as the villainous, creepy and quite frankly dickish captain. And in this movie, basically, it's just high seas fun and just is ridiculous. The way the movie starts out is they talk about in the South China Sea, there's an underwater mountain range big enough to hide the Himalayas. No man has explored it. And various ships have disappeared throughout the centuries. And nobody has been able to figure it out. It's so mysterious. Okay, so I'm just going to spoil it right now because fuck you. And also this movie's been out for going on 24 fucking years. There's these mysterious tentacle creatures that decide to come aboard the goddamn ship, including one huge one, and they basically, well, we need blood to live. We need fluids to live. So they decide to kill everybody on the goddamn ship. That's pretty much your plot right there. And once, everybody gets on the ship that's still alive, people that weren't on the ship when this creature came in, they were like, oh, we have to figure this shit out. And then you find more blood and gore and this kind of stuff and some silly special effects. But a lot of witty dialogue and fun. And sure, it's not a perfect movie. It's not a great movie. I would argue that this movie is pretty much not even necessarily good if you tried to dissect it. But if you just appreciate it for what it is, it's fun. It's really, really fucking fun. It's breezy. It doesn't slow down. It just keeps the pedal to the metal. It just absolutely beats you over the head with some of the stuff, while also keeping a breezy pace about it. So basically, the plot, such as it is, you have Finnegan, played by Treat Williams, who has his crew with him, including a very, very, very gorgeous, Asian woman named the character Leia, played by or Leela. She doesn't have the one eye though, played by Una Damon. And they're there, and then you got the guy that played Benny, Joey in this movie. It's like apparently he has the same similar sounding name. But that being said, he has more hair in this movie than he had in The Mummy. And he also had more skin on him by the end of this movie than he had in The Mummy. But anyway, they're just, they got this kind of shoddy type of boat. And even though it's a shoddy looking boat, they somehow managed to have like 3 fucking levels of this thing because they have a crew of about 18 people. I think it's actually only about 8, but it seems like a lot of various stereotypes and everything, including Cliff Curtis, who would be the villain in Collateral Damage. And they are tasking Finnegan with taking them aboard this boat. But even though they don't really tell him about this, if the cash is there, we do not care. That's basically the mindset. So basically, he's a mercenary for hire. He's taking these people. And then Joey finds out aboard this cargo, holy shit, they've got some missiles. What the hell is going on? My goodness. Smash cut to the cruise liner, where Simon, or rather Canton as he's referred to, as in we can't possibly let this thing, get out of hand. That was a really forced pun. he's got this lavish cruise liner and everything, the Argonautica, and oh, it's this great, great thing where the whole bunch of rich people and all this stuff, and you can clearly tell right from the fucking beginning, this guy's one of the biggest goddamn creeps in the world, and it's absolutely fucking hilarious just how they don't even hide it, and everybody can fucking see right through him, and pretty much the ship, is very lavish and everything. It's all good stuff, and then somebody mysteriously takes out the software disks and puts other disks in there that causes the thing to shut down. The software, all that stuff and everything, and all that late 90s computer technology shut down. We're flying blind. We don't know what the hell's going on. And then you enter the character of Trillian, who's Famke Janssen's character. Just, again, gorgeous. God damn, she's so fucking gorgeous. She is a pickpocket, a thief, so to speak. Why she thought this would be a good idea to do any thievery, considering they're literally in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. She thought this was a good idea. She ends up stealing one of the captain's cards and tries to get into vaults where there's, all these all this jewelry and all this money and stuff like that. She takes this thing, not realizing that the security system was monitored, and she gets arrested. She gets thrown in the barracks that aren't complete yet. Okay, so she gets thrown in the kitchen, essentially. Like where all the food is and champagne and stuff like that. So she's just having fun and whatever. And she had earlier heard like a screeching. Well, what the hell is the screeching about? Oh my God, what could the screeching be? Those are the shrieking octopi. And what ends up happening is she ends up, trying to escape eventually out of this room. And she suddenly realizes there isn't anybody around because this giant creature that has about 18 million tentacles, even sucks a woman down through a goddamn toilet. That was pretty goddamn funny. And then, all this stuff happens. All these bodies just get destroyed. We get some blood splatter and stuff like that. And then Joey finds all this stuff with the missiles and everything, and the crew's very upset at him. This crew full of numerous stereotypes, including the guy to play Brumby from Jag. Very tragic how he met his end. Simon's also a bit of a creep, really. A bit of a creep. He even at one point slapped Famke Janssen's character. And everybody on Finnegan's crew, all three of them are debating, what the hell are they going to do with torpedoes? Well, obviously, they're going to sink the goddamn boat. Why would they sink the boat? Oh, this luxury cruise liner that Canton funded and sabotaged, he wants to get the insurance money. That's it. That's pretty much it right there. But let's get back to the fact that there's a subplot involving, a giant subterranean octopus. It's the Ottawia, I believe is how it's said. I pretty much, I pretty much don't think it really matters what the fuck they're called, but like, these creatures are just so goddamn vicious and everything. And also, they're seemingly everywhere. How these tentacles can get through all this stuff and whatever and get through these pipes safely without busting and stuff. It's convenient that these pipes are so goddamn big so their tentacles can get through there. It's kind of funny until this thing attacks when, everybody gets killed, crushed and everything, and the woman gets sucked through the toilet. The ship ends up, crashing into a speedboat. And what ends up happening is that thing gets damaged, so they're figuring they can repair it, but they're going to have to go aboard to basically fix the engine parts. Well, the cruise liner is obviously, it's just stationary. It's just sitting there and everything. Even though you would think something like that would eventually float, nope, alas, it is not going to do that. So there's nobody around. The hijackers are wondering what the hell's going on. You have Hanover, who's played by Wes Studi, or Studi. And he's a good character actor as well. He's like this, balls to the wall, crazy guy and everything. But he's bound, determined, we have to get to the vault. We have to do this. And Trillian frees herself, and they, end up hooking up, kind of hooking up with her and everything. Not necessarily unsettling way, but they're like not necessarily trusting each other because one, there's a group of hijackers, and also there's Treat Williams as Finnegan and Joey. While one of the hijackers and also Layla decides to stay back. So when that happens, naturally things go tits up on their boat, and things start to go more tits up as the cruise ship is taking on water. So it's it's not going to be able to stay up. Boy, I really struggled with that pun. They they end up finding out that, oh, there's these weird, this weird shit going on. She ends up getting dragged away when we go back to the ship. Layla does, in a kind of a humorous fashion, and they tried to do a Jaws-like thing with the body popping up, which was ridiculous. There was one funny... Treat Williams probably gets the best dialogue here. I have a bad feeling about this. And Joey says at one point, it's a ghost ship. I vote we leave. Who votes we leave? Oh, no, ghost ship doesn't come up for another 4 years. This does feature the usual Stephen Sommers, breeziness about it. It's not as good as The Mummy, but The Mummy just hit that perfect sweet spot where, no, not everything is perfect. You could dissect that, and you could dissect stuff here. But it is that high seas adventure that's just absolutely ridiculous. Canton, or rather Simon, just continues to be creepy and a goddamn idiot and whatever. The girl from Ipanema plays on the elevator, which a crowded elevator gets slow, as Incubus once said. And more people get picked off. The guy that played Brumby gets picked off. T-Ray, not T-Ray 3000. Wait, that was D-Ray 3000 from TNA. And Cliff Curtis's character gets picked off. Various people get picked off to where one of the characters actually gets shot out from, or, freed from one of the giant tentacles once they finally see it. And he's half consumed because these creatures need blood and fluids to live. I need tungsten to live. Tungsten. And that's pretty much it right there. They have to try and get these machine parts and, to get the engine working. At one point, Joey gets, hit with slime because we're back in Nickelodeon. Then gunfire at the cruise ship corral, the Argonautica corral. And one thing I don't understand, though, is how Canton suddenly knows about these creatures. It was almost like he was planning for this stuff to happen, but he figured he'd get away before anybody else would, get hurt. Oh, he's not a monster. Yeah, he kind of fucking is, actually. There's more tentacle difficulties, as it were. And, of course, so racist. The second black guy dies, 200th. Jaimin Hansu, by the way, does not make it very long. He gets an axe through the head. Great, fall from grace for Amistad. Actually, he's been great in a lot of movies. He was great in Gladiator, which I should have to review at some point. And it's going to sink. Hey, there's an island. We need to go to this island and stuff like that. More crazy shit just keeps happening. Finnegan decides because he loses the parts, he decides to set the boat up to, basically put the torpedoes into the cruise ship and sink it, and then therefore sink the goddamn creature as well. Even though the creature survived down there, maybe he could blow it up. So it was kind of hilarious. So once we finally saw the creature, it was all bulbous and goofy, and as the survivor count continues to drop, what happens is, Trillian gets away. Simon's a goddamn dick. He showers his leg at one point trying to get down to Finnegan's ship, not realizing the autopilot's already been set, and he whines like a little baby because he's a little bitch. Not the actor, but the character. And Finnegan ends up, he has his shotgun, even though the big old gun got knocked out, the big fucking gun got knocked out, he takes a shotgun and just conveniently shoots out the creature's eye. Man, that's a really powerful shell to just shoot out a goddamn eye like that. And it's a great 12-gauge eye exam. Would not recommend that. Do not do that, kids. And then they find water skis, or jet skis, conveniently, just right there. They decide to speed up and do this, but no, alas, the tentacles keep getting in the way. They eventually have to keep going around. He keeps saying cock it to Famke Johnson. Oh, what I wouldn't give. Anyway, she keeps doing that. They keep shooting out, the various tentacles and, that kind of stuff in the mouthy, shit and whatever. They eventually get away as Simon gets blown up along with the cruise ship, and they manage to get away. And they manage to get into an island. Joey is there somehow, and everything's good, except they don't have a lot of bullets left, and they heard a roar on the screen, or, on the island, and what the hell's going on? And Treat Williams, much like he had said earlier, when a creature suddenly showed up, well, now what? That was kind of hinting at a sequel. We did not get Deep Rising 2 Electric Boogaloo, but we got a pretty damn fun adventure that was silly, ridiculous, and it was a whole lot of fun. Let me know your thoughts on Deep Rising in the comments, please. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ricklin. I'll see you soon.